Just a couple of days ago, I filmed my first video where we looked at a handful of case and skin options for the Galaxy Z Fold 7. As you can see, I at least temporarily settled on that D-brand leather skin. There's just something about that just draws me in. It's so nice to feel. But today, we do have another case to look at. I talked about it in that video that I had a case coming from Benks, and it has arrived. And this is the case that they have sent me, and this is another aramid fiber case. I know it says Kevlar, but I believe Kevlar is a kind of aramid fiber, so similar to that thin-borne case, but one big difference is this does have, as you can see, hinge protection. Very similarly to the case that comes with the Oppo Find N5, there's a little flap that sits over the hinge and should give you some protection there for those of you who are worried about that kind of thing. Now, this case is $54.99, so still, fairly expensive, a little bit less than the thin-borne case, but keep in mind, this is just the front piece. If we jump over to their official website and scroll down, you can see that you have a grand combo. This is the back and the front, and it's going to be $89.99, which is right there with the thin-borne. When you're getting premium aramid fiber, it's just usually going to be more expensive than something you can get off of AliExpress for $20 or $30. Just tends to be the case. I do like, though, how they're kind of piecemealing this, though. If you're like me and you don't really want that front piece, you can just get the back piece for $55, and that, I think, makes a lot of sense for a lot of people. With that being said, they did give me a promo code, Shane15, that will save you 15% off your order. So if you do buy one of these cases, do yourself a favor, save some money, and use that promo code. So the first thing I need to do is I need to actually remove the skin from my Galaxy Z Fold 7. And like I told you guys in that initial video, as long as you're careful with how you do this, you can take this skin off and you can put it back on multiple different times. Because this is so much thicker than a normal skin, it doesn't stretch. So just keep your little piece of paper that it came with and stick it back on, and you can reuse it. Like most things in life, that's easier when you stop talking and actually just pay attention to what you're using. So we'll just stash this away. So here is the packaging that they actually did send me, and they did send a screen protector as well. Screen protector for phone. It doesn't look like there's any sort of like special installation method, just a standard screen protector. Quick pause here on the screen protector. When I tried to look it up, I did find their Glass Warrior Z Fold 7 screen protector. It's $32.99, but it looks like they've got one of these nifty new installation things where it kind of like slides and it gets rid of the dust as it's installing. I've had really good luck with this kind of installation method. That's not what they sent me. Maybe it's the same protector, but a different installation method. Not exactly sure, but that's all I'm seeing. It's got the little border around the outside as well. Since they've already got a screen protector installed, we're going to kind of ignore that one for now. Here is the case itself, and the first thing that I instantly noticed is it feels very stiff. When I grab the thin-borne, it definitely does have just a little bit more give in it. It's not like a huge difference, but this does feel a little bit, just a little bit stiffer. You can see here, built with Kevlar, and it's got its MagSafe ring in there as well. We have a strip of adhesive, and then here is that little bit there that's going to actually cover up that hinge piece, and you can see the design. I'm actually not wild about these colors, like greens and things like that. I don't know. I'd rather have either black or maybe, I don't know, something a little bit different than this. This is not really too far up my alley, but nonetheless, there that is. And then you also do have the little front piece, and there is part of me that does feel like $30 for for this does seem a little bit on the excessive side, but it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and peel off the cover on the adhesive, and we will attach this thing to my lovely blue Z Fold 7, which I almost just now dropped, and it will snap into place exactly as you would expect it to. And there is that little bit of hinge covering. Now, one thing this is obviously going to do is it is going to make your device just a little bit wider in your hand, okay? So that's something that you're going to just have to be okay with. It does have a little bit of give to it. And I'll tell you that when I was using something like this on the Find N5, I was doing a lot of this. A lot of just sort of fidget fidgeting with this thing. So maybe that's an added benefit. It looks like all of the cutouts seem pretty solid. We are getting a little bit of additional grip to this thing as well. We have sort of like a little raised portion and then a ring around the camera. That is a different approach to the thin-born, which is aramid fiber all the way up. This does have a little bit of a ring up there. LED flash is cut out just fine. If we open the thing up, you do actually end up with, I think, another little added benefit, which is that you can kind of hold on to the lump on the back of your device. Now, one thing that I'm immediately a little bit sort of unnerved by is the fact that this piece does seem to be resting pretty much flush against the cover display. Why is this a problem? Well, because on that Oppo Find N5, which had, like I keep saying, a very similar case, what ended up happening to me was that case ended up giving me little micro scratches. You can probably see them all along the edge of the device. As this thing opens, what happens is this piece here will kind of rub against that screen. Now, I have a screen protector on, so that's not going to be like as big of a deal, but it's definitely something that I will be slightly concerned by. We also have this cover piece, which I do need to install, even if I, generally speaking, never end up using these. I will put it on there just to show you. And it looks like all they're using is a strip here and a strip here. The thin-born case, which actually came with this by default, did have a couple of additional strips of adhesive everywhere for everyone. So that looks like that has lined up quite well and is actually like perfectly lined up with the screen protector that I already had installed. And that should actually make it a little bit easier to grip, to open, because you now have sort of like a different texture there to grab a hold of. Let's go ahead and open the thing up and make sure we're not butting into itself up top or down below. I almost dropped it again. I don't know what's wrong with me. I gotta say, I do really like having that little lump on the back to kind of hold on to. But since this does have a MagSafe ring, you can put like a grip back there. So this is one of my favorite grips. And so in theory, yep, there you go. It's gonna latch on. Does that look like that's off center? That's gotta be off center, right? I don't think that's throwing me off. I think that that's just off center. That's weird. Is the thin-born one off center too? Now am I going crazy? No, that one is centered. I mean, I guess I know what I have to do, right? I gotta measure this distance. So we are sitting at about 10.9 millimeters from grip to edge. And over here, yeah, that's way not centered. That is strange, right? Okay, so now I'm a little bit concerned, because one of the things I showed you that I dug about the thin-born was that a battery bank like this was able to fit underneath the camera, which was a problem with the Fold 6. What will happen here? Stay tuned to find out as we slide it into place. Okay, ooh, no, kind of. If you let it sort of go slightly diagonal, it fits. But if you straighten it, you lose the magnet. Obviously, I can't really show you this, but if I let go, see how it slid back? It's because I'm slightly off the magnet where it wants to sit. It kind of wants to sit like, like that. This is one of those places where it pays to do a little bit of additional digging. I kept thinking about that MagSafe ring not being centered. Why would they do that? Well, I went online and I found Phone Repair Guru. They tore into the Galaxy Z Fold 7, and you can see where the wireless charging Qi coil is. And if we use my little measuring extension and we go to the edge of the coil and to the edge of the device, it's about 27 pixels. And if we come over here and do the same, it's about 30 pixels. Let's actually look at an image where I can zoom in a bit closer. And you can see from here to here versus from here to here, the coil actually is off center. So what Benks is doing with their case, putting their MagSafe ring slightly off center, is not a mistake. They are lining it up correctly with the wireless charging coil. Just so you can see this, when you pop this thing on the back, it will start charging the device. There we go. It is now charging the device. You can see up there in the corner of the screen. Now, the problem is, because of that location, it really doesn't want to hold on well. If you try to straighten it, you're going to lose your magnet. What ends up happening is it wants to just kind of fall off really, really easily. So again, this is not a mistake on their part. They're putting their ring where the coil is. Now, in fairness, Thinborn put theirs dead center, which is actually slightly off from the actual charging coil, yet it is still able to charge. You see, it just started charging there, and it is much more stably in place. I can actually, hit it pretty hard without it wanting to come off. You have to actually try to take it off. So what's the right thing to do there? Should you put your ring directly on top of the coil? If that does kind of cause the actual connection to be a little bit weaker with some accessories, not all of them, right? Like the little grips and things are fine. Other MagSafe battery packs might be okay as well. This is just the one that I happen to have on hand. Or do you put it kind of slightly away, actually dead center? If it's not affecting the ability for these charging things to charge, maybe that's the right way to go. Definitely more complicated than it seems on the surface, though. I do think that the front piece will maybe prevent that hinge protection from touching the cover display. So if you're worried about that rubbing and scratching, you're probably going to want to have that front piece on there. Again, I can't confirm to you, guarantee that not having it is going to lead to scratches, but it's something that I would be at least a little bit nervous about. Make sure there's a screen protector installed, minimum, if you don't have that front piece, just based on my other experience with a very similar case. So guys, there you go. I think we have at least one more pretty solid option for a very thin and light case for your Galaxy Z Fold 7. It's got at least that one big advantage over the Thinborn, but then also I think one disadvantage over the Thinborn, or maybe under the Thinborn case as well. I will be putting a link in the description to their website and also to their Amazon listing. The Amazon listing should be an affiliate link, which means if you click it and make a purchase, I will earn commission off of that. Thanks to Benks for sending this case out to me for this video to be produced. Guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.